And the Logochrono paper is claiming an efficiency of 890 millinewtons per kilowatt.
Yes, let that sink in.
That is roughly 15,000 times more efficient than our best deep space ion drives. They also compare it to a photon rocket, which pushes a ship using pure light radiation pressure, and the Logochrono is 270,000 times better than that.
It's unbelievable.
If these projected numbers are real, we aren't just talking about a slightly faster probe to Mars. It completely rewrites the economics, the physics, and the timescale of human space travel.
Which is exactly why the measurement protocols outlined in the experiment are bordering on obsessive.
Oh, for sure.
To measure a force as small as 0.89 millinewtons accurately, they're utilizing a commercial S-type load cell that has a sensitivity of 0.1 milligrams. They are physically sustaining the entire array using 100-micron thick sapphire fibers.
And even the electrical connections are run through 50-micron gold wires that include what they call service loops.
Right, a service loop meaning the wire is intentionally left with slack so it doesn't pull or introduce any mechanical stiffness that might interfere with the incredibly sensitive scale.
They anticipate the signal-to-noise ratio will be greater than 100 times above the noise floor.
Yes, very clear signal.
And I have to say this, if I'm a reviewer reading this, or just a deeply skeptical listener, I'm thinking, you are measuring an incredibly tiny force inside a freezing, vibrating vacuum chamber. Thermal expansion of the metal mounts, electrostatic forces jumping from the electronics, just the ambient vibrations of the Earth outside the lab. How do we know the load cell isn't just picking up environmental noise and tricking us into thinking it's thrust?
The authors anticipate that exact skepticism. To counter it, they have mapped out a rigid sequence of control phases, specifically Phase 3 and Phase 5.
Okay, walk us through this.
Phase 3 is a DC null test. They apply a constant 0.3-volt electrical bias to the gates without the high-frequency data pulsing.
So they just run steady electricity through it.
Exactly. This checks if just having raw electricity flowing through the system creates an electrostatic artifact. If the scale moves during Phase 3, they know it's an error, not the Logochrono effect.
Okay, that makes sense. But the ultimate lie detector test is Phase 5.
Oh yes, the reversal protocol. They physically open the chamber, take the array, rotate it 180 degrees, and run the entire experiment again.
So it's pointing backward.
Right. If this information-induced vacuum thrust is real, the gradient is now facing the opposite direction. The force reading on the scale must invert from a positive 0.89 millinewtons to a negative 0.89 millinewtons.
Wow. Because thermal artifacts, expanding metal, and room vibrations do not perfectly invert when you flip a chip upside down.
Exactly. That is the gold standard physical control to prove the force is directional and generated by the array itself.